What's happening, everybody, is MPC Offline's Home of Play podcast, where we talk everything PlayStation news, and that is because we're PlayStation fans. With me, your host, Stevie, we have Curtis.
Hi.
And we also have Chris.
Hello.
The two C's of gaming. So on today's episode, we're talking 6 big major articles for PlayStation news. If you like what we do here, you can find us on YouTube. Just search MPC Offline, and we will be the first thing that pops up.
We are also on Twitter at NPC Offline for those who use the Twitters.
Going on today, we got 6 news articles, and let's just get into the news. First one is the big one. E3 2020 canceled due to virus concerns. Basically, ESRB has decided that due to health reasons, they are no longer doing E3 this year. It's the first year I can think of in a long time that we're not going to have an E3 in June, and that is very unfortunate, but I would have to say it's probably the safer bet right now.
I mean, I'm surprised it took so long considering how many other conventions have already canceled due to the same reasons.
It does feel like they're the last one to respond almost.
I think they were also the furthest ones out, so I don't know why, but they may have, like many people, assumed this would die down early, but realize now that this is just the start, especially for us in the West.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad. I mean, the show was already bleeding different things like Sony and other supporters and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's disappointing, but well, what can you do?
I just don't know what this means for... I think we're going to get a lot more online shows and kind of like state of play, stuff like that.
Nintendo Directs.
Yeah, and like Nintendo Directs was going to happen anyway, but for me, the biggest one is going to be Microsoft. What are you going to do? They were going to be in the stadium right across the street having their big, this is our Xbox Series X. You know, look at all the statistics, all these floppies. And now there's no floppies to show because there's no show. So do they go to the state of play kind of thing? I think they do have their own video, but they just haven't done a lot, so I wouldn't even know what it's called.
Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head either.
Okay, I think that's enough for that. Second big news of this week, we have Call of Duty Warzone being announced. A Battle Royale Call of Duty, free to play, kind of all the buzzwords that you're used to hearing in the last year or two. I watched the video. I'm not a Call of Duty guy anymore. I used to play Call of Duty all the time. I get every new one every year and play the bejesus out of it. And then, it kind of became more of that, my opinion, it became more of a game that turned into how do we keep kids playing? They're dying too easily. They get mad. They're where the money is. So we need them to stay around, get the microtransactions. So let's just make everything a one-hit kill, really lean on kill streaks, throwing freaking bouncing betties into discus of death, and just cheap mechanics, quick scoping. Once all that stuff kind of started popping off, I kind of shut down. I think it was Black Ops 2 where I just was like, I'm going to like Battlefield 4. That's, bullet drop, God forbid, where you actually have to have skill for sniping.
Yeah, I think Warzone might actually be something somewhat successful just due to the fact that the Battle Royales have been such a hit lately. Like, I'm not sure if it's going to gain as much ground as Fortnite, but being the fact that it is Call of Duty, that might really, really help it build. And apparently from what I've heard too, it is really good. It has decent mechanics. It's got, the Call of Duty gameplay, the graphics, and for something that's free, I guess it's kind of a gamble on, is it Activision or who's publishing this one?
It's Activision.
It's Activision, yeah. I actually did jump in this one on Tuesday. I have been enjoying it. I've only played it a little bit so far. It's pretty good. It's got 150 people jumping into a match.
50 more than PUBG, right?
It's 50 more than PUBG, and yeah, it was a good experience so far.
Does it have vehicles?
There are vehicles in the map. The map's pretty decent size, actually.
I have heard it's like, compared to a Call of Duty map, it's something different.
And the interesting thing is when you knock out another player and kill them, they get transported to a different arena called the Gulag. And then it's interesting depending, because usually when you first land, there's always a whole bunch of deaths, right? So there's a whole bunch of people that end up in the gulag, and then the game starts randomly pairing you against one other person, and you do kind of a head-to-head fight. Whoever wins that fight will actually respawn back into the map and be able to come back. So technically, if you have a 150 lobby, you can almost have up to 225 people in total. Not to mention, you can also revive your teammates with currency you get from playing within. There's just money, currency laying around, or doing certain challenges and missions. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it so far. And like I said, I haven't jumped in too much, but
How much would you say time wise and like just a guesstimate?
that I played.
Yeah.
Probably we did about maybe 3 or 4 matches.
Okay.
Like
And
we
did you-
honestly we didn't we had forgotten that it was coming out on Tuesday, and it was just like we had BattleNet up, and it was like, oh hey, it's there, it's free, let's download it.
Did you play with a full party of friends or did you play by yourself?
I played with one friend and then a random.
Because it is 3-party squad, right?
It's 3-party squad from what I can tell.
Like Apex.
Yeah, like Apex. I think it's still classified as beta, if I'm not mistaken. I
Okay.
thought I saw that on one of the loading screens that this was still beta. But yeah, overall it was a good
Did
experience.
it run well for you?
Yeah, I didn't have any issues. I have heard from other people that they've had an issue where the game crashes on them
Okay.
after playing for like 10 minutes or something, which obviously isn't enough time to really do anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's might already be patched out even. Who knows?
Yeah, well, they're usually pretty good. I guess I can't say. I did hear a lot of grumbles with the last Call of Duty. I guess that was Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah.
The
one
well,
that's-
yeah. I guess it's kind of the current one. This is still attached, I think, to Modern
No, but
Warfare.
I'm just referencing that the grumbles about the previous, like the official Call of Duty game, not this free battle royale, was that typical. I don't know how they still have this shit, but like spawn camping.
Yeah, that was
and-
in it.
Yeah,
there
and
was
I'm like,
spawn
how do we
camping.
still have this problem? Like this, I mean, and I guess it goes back to all the problems I have with the game with the quick scoping and the spawn camping and just the cheap crap that they fill these games with to just keep bad players playing. Because if only the good ones stayed, they're not going to be. Well, you look at the last
No, you're right.
decade in games, the highest selling ones. I think 6 or 7 are all Call of Duty games, and they do that by just cheapening the experience from everyone.
Yeah.
And like that's what sucks about it.
At least with this one, the Modern Warfare anyway. At least you got a campaign. Yay!
I heard the campaign,
and it was decent.
Yeah, I know.
I
It looked
enjoyed it.
good.
I found it a little bit easy. Like I was playing on the harder mode, and you get so bogged down getting gunfire on you sometimes, where it's like you're crouching trying to heal or something, get back breath,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like you stand up and your allies have killed all the enemies, and you're like, okay, let's go to the next area.
The only other gripe I heard on the streets was one buddy basically told me his issue would be that they try to drop these containers where planes just randomly. I can't remember what he referred to it like, but maybe it's Apex or a different game where every like once in a while something rare will drop from a plane.
Well, PUBG had that. They
Okay,
had their airdrops, the
Maybe
supply
okay,
drops.
then that's what he was referring to. And anyway, he said it'd be something rare so people would fight for it, and that was the incentive to get people back in the action. He said they just like screwed the pooch on this one, and basically like 100 drop in the Call of Duty one, just 100. And he's like, yeah, at least the 10 games I've played, I've never fought another person because there's so many of them, and they drop every 10 minutes.
That was this one, Warzone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said the worst part about it is it's not like a rare gun. It's not this. It's your loadout from online.
I do remember when I was playing, you do come across a lot of caches
Yeah.
where it's like they'll glow different color depending on the rarity, blue, purple, gold, and all
Okay.
that kind of stuff. There's even one of the side missions because there are missions you can do like sub objectives, like
Yeah.
go kill the target, or there's one mission where it's like go find 3 supply caches, and it actually marks it on the map where they are. So the map is pretty filled with them.
Yeah.
I don't recall. I mean, obviously there would be airdrops, but I don't remember me hunting them down and to see if there was actually better loot in them than what I would just find.
See, what I'm curious now is, have you played Black Ops 4 at all?
Yes, I played that one a shit ton.
So have you played Blackout? Is
Yes, that's
how is
Blackout,
it
yeah.
in comparison to this? Like, does it pull inspiration from that? A lot of the same assets or anything? Is it
It
similar?
does and it doesn't. Like there are, I'm trying to think here. there are similarities. I would almost say the blackout mode is more similar to PUBG than this one. They did have like I don't remember what they were called, but they were like packages you would get that would give you like skill boosts, where it's like there was one like dead silence. You would use it and you'd be able to
Like
walk around
perks
with
almost.
yeah, perks. Yeah, actually, that's you'd find perk packs, which is definitely different than either of them. This one, I believe, still has it, but I think you can only carry one at a time. Don't quote me on that. But it is very similar. This one's still new, so it's hard to
trying
it's
to
hard know.
basically branch itself out from everyone else.
Yeah,
be something different.
It's definitely
new to the
different.
table.
Yeah.
Did you play both modes? Because this one has Plunderer.
I just played the normal one.
Okay.
Whatever the normal mode's called, Warzone maybe.
Yeah. Because the other one's more money centric. From my understanding, I didn't look too deep into it. But yeah, it was supposed to be about collecting money, extracting it too. Kind of like, it almost seemed Division-y in that sense.
It sort of sounds like, just off the name, it almost sounds like a heist or something.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a certain amount of money and then extract.
But then, yeah, you got to get your helicopter and then fight over that, making sure that works out.
Well, that's like Dark Zone in the Division.
Yeah, that's why I was referencing like Division-y, just because that's the only thing my brain goes to when you think of a helicopter taking your stuff out, and then you got to wait for it, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think that is out now as of Tuesday. So free to play. If Call of Duty is your thing, then definitely sounds like you should play it. You'll probably enjoy it if you liked any other stuff. I guess unless you don't like battle royales, but that sounds like a you problem, not so much an it problem. So
I can say I enjoyed my brief amount of time with it. I'm hoping to get a little bit more into this weekend. So.
Okay, well, if you want to play it again, that's a pretty good like ranking right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm definitely into the battle royale style, and I like them all a little bit.
Okay.
They all have their nice feature.
Article number 3, Cyberpunk updates its feminine protagonist look, confirms reverse box art image. So basically, they on International Women's Day, they posted a new picture of the female protagonist. I believe it's another option of a pre-created type, like body type. So I think you can still get the original one, and then this is a more feminine. I looked at the picture. It's a terrible picture. She's looking down in a way.
Like the picture's a terrible angle. It's not necessarily. Yeah, no. I took a look at it too, and I was like, there's a difference, but
like I honestly,
the hair was different.
This is it right here. I can't tell you why it's that much different than that, other than the hair possibly being flipped to the other side.
I mean, she doesn't have the eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Well, it says right there, yeah. Much brighter red hair appears through some minor changes of the face.
I mean, the
Some
problem
smoky
is, too,
eyeshadow,
is
so.
it's a first-person shooter. So, I mean, how many times in the game are you actually going to be able to see your character?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you might see her during the cinematics. There might be mirrors. You'll see reflections. I'm not sure.
I know there is what in the one video, or I guess maybe have they released 2, or is it just 1 still? I think it's 1, but in the one gameplay video, I think it was like a mission over, and then she like wakes up with some partner, lover, and that's third person, I guess. But yeah, it goes right back to first person. So I agree. I mean, people like me, like I love customization. Even if it's like Elder Scrolls and it's first person, I don't know why I care. And I want to create a better looking character, and I want this and I want that. So does this do anything for me? I don't know. I just don't see that many differences. So to me, this doesn't matter. But if you're giving me more options, that's good. That's cool. I don't mind more options.
Yeah, does it indicate you're going to be able to change the skin of your... Are they just changing this period?
I do believe I heard that you can change, what is it? Their body type, clothes, hairstyle, tattoos, makeup, skin tone, and more.
I don't know. When it comes to new IPs, I'm usually pretty skeptical. That's maybe my bias, though.
I'm such a fanboy of Project Red ever since, like, honestly, Witcher 2. Yep. Since I'd say them. And then I tried going back to Witcher 1, didn't care for it.
And that right there is kind of why it's all fine and good to praise a developer, but knowing that, something like The Witcher 1 exists shows me that they can do, I don't want to say bad, but bad.
I would counter, though, with the fact that you're right, Witcher 1 wasn't great, but it was also one of the earliest games. But then on top of that, let's say the gameplay falls at a solid like 7 out of 10. It's not the greatest thing ever. It's not revolutionary. Just my faith in their ability to create subplots and
And
side
worlds.
quests that are like better than like anything like other games come up with a main quest. Like there's so many Witcher side quests that even to this day that I'm like, oh, I didn't do this, so I do it this time. I'm like, oh wow, like you have a family and I have to discover what happened to them. And like it's not even spelled out for you sometimes. You just have to be like, oh, they clearly got killed and like you probably did it. And there's no conclusion to it, so it just bothered me for a day. And that's a side quest. That's not even a main quest. You know, try finding a main quest that means 3 squirts of piss in a Zelda game. And they're doing it with a side quest, and that's where I'm just totally CD Projekt Red, just take me away. Take me away.
Pretty much what I'm trying to say is the fact that they had the books as inspiration. Yes, it basically unfolds his backstory, like they're taking so much content from the books. I realize not everything is from the books, or if at all, but I don't know how much Cyberpunk is going to be like a fresh idea, or if it's actually something that they're putting this much effort.
Well, they have, I believe they have the game's creator on board. Like I remember watching a video with him talking about how he's involved and whether that's 100% true or not, because we've heard stuff like that. Like even, you know, when is it Elden Ring or Elden King, the new Squaresoft, that one where they say like, oh, George R. R. Martin's involved. I'm like, yeah, that guy can't even finish a book in like 8 years.
Hey now, it's coming. But you gotta
So's Christmas.
You gotta believe.
Yeah, I think believe is all we have, and fan fiction. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the game. I'm disappointed and saddened that it's delayed as long as it is. But
If they want to polish it to make it nice, then who cares?
yeah, I just don't know. After like 7 years, you shouldn't be in the polishing stage.
It depends what they're trying to do. If they're trying to make it ready for PS5, then they need extra time.
But they've been pushing so hard that like, oh, it's not taking this long, just because we're trying to make it PS5 ready. Like this is a PS4 game. This is an Xbox One game.
They've dug their feet in.
Yeah.
And they're saying, yeah,
And then
this
to
is what
do
we're
it,
focusing on.
yeah. So if that was the reason, that'd be pretty shitty. Like, you know, again, I want to give them all the time in the world, and that's a lot of people are coming from. They're like, hey, give them more time. You're getting a better game, and I'm like, I'm down with that, but 7 to 8 years by the time this thing comes out.
But also think how long it's taken for them to even show gameplay.
That, and the other thing that worries me is not one person has played this game. There's no public available demo for even industry people. No one's actually played this game.
So it doesn't surprise me if they're trying to do polish now.
But that's the worst, is like, that doesn't sound like polish to me. A lot of games have gameplay demos. Final Fantasy VII Remake was playable last E3. Why the hell can't anyone play this game? Like, that's not a polishing thing. That's maybe like your systems don't work.
Okay, do you remember, and this is, again, I'm not trying to shit on CD Projekt Red, but Witcher 3, when it came out, is different from what you play now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they've patched it. They've fixed things. They've changed menus. They've done a bunch of things. Like, is that what's going to happen with this, too?
And,
Like, are
and
they
they've
just
done
not
that with
prepared?
the other ones, too. Witcher 1
Yeah.
was, if I recall, was a pretty big mess when it first came out. It ended up getting good. I remember, I think I had the disc-based version of the game, and at some point I had to actually go online and download like a mega patch
Wow.
to upgrade the whole game.
Hmm.
I can't remember what they called it, but it was a mega patch to change the whole game and make it better.
Like
And I mean, if you can spend the time to polish it, take the time.
I don't know. For some reason, I want to say The Witcher 2 got something as well.
It did, because when I first played The Witcher 2, it was on PC, and I don't even think it had a tutorial. So when I went in that game, never playing a Witcher game before, like that was my first Witcher game, I'm like, what potions? And I have to gather things, and where am I going? I understood nothing, and then I got to the first boss fight, and I couldn't finish it. I got stuck in this part, and it doesn't tell you what to do at all. And I finally just like rage quit and never played it again. While you fast forward like years, I can't remember. And then I don't know when the change happened, but I do know eventually it made its way to the 360, I believe, or the Xbox One. But they did finally make it go to a console, and playing it again at that point, because I was getting ready for 3 to come out and I was getting really hyped. So I'm like, yeah, I want to try 2 again. All of a sudden it had tutorials. And all of a sudden when I got to the boss, it's like, oh yeah, you got to actually run up this column, and then it will auto kill him. I mean, it didn't spell out that detailed, but basically it let me know, hey, go on this column now. And I'm like, oh, that's what I was supposed to do in the other one? Like, how the fuck would I have known that? There's no traversal in this game. There's no climbing of any sorts in the, like, Witcher 2. So I'm like, why I suddenly would know to go on this thing? I don't know. It kind of frustrated me. But I'm like, at least you have it now. I understand potions because you finally gave me a reason to understand what they do.
Well, I mean, even Witcher 3, when it came out, it was, didn't every item have weight?
I think so.
Like
probably.
every ingredient and piece of food
Every
had weight.
key item.
Yeah, and I think eventually they patched it where it's like, okay, the small, tiny things, they don't weigh anything anymore.
Yeah. Oh, Witcher 3 had a lot of, like...
And me picking up every single thing I see in the game, that's my thing.
This,
Read everything,
this
pick
It
up
was that was a
everything.
blessing.
This Witcher has 7,083 pans. It's just like, why does he need so many pans?
I need all the spoons.
Yeah.
Why? They put the spoons in the game. There's got to be a reason to collect.
You're
the
like,
spoons.
you don't know how to kill a dweller, do you? Because I do, and it's fucking 7,000 pans. If you don't have 7,000 pans and you're going up against a dweller, you're fucked.
So yeah, basically my concern is, and the evidence is almost kind of showing it in what I'm seeing, that yes, there's been very little gameplay shown, and just judging by the amount of stuff that they've had to fix in their previous games, maybe they're trying to shy away from that and actually make something just work right from the start. So if they need the extra time, let's hope that that's what that is.
Here's hoping. Yeah, I mean, and then they were talking about multiplayer too, right? Which is going to be added at some point in the future.
If I read this correctly, I could have sworn that multiplayer sounded like a thing they're going to have like one of their smaller teams do as like a separate project. So
Not like an Metal Gear Online kind of thing.
yeah, kind of like
standalone.
it'll be its own thing added in later.
Like I don't know if it'll be full PvP or there'll be some PvE.
I don't know if they've talked that much about it because I don't remember details. I just remember them saying like, yeah, it might be a thing down the road, but it's going to be, smaller team, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Going right ahead, we're going to go with a piece of news that I added for my own reasons, but we finally got on Sunday the reveal for Spawn being added into Mortal Kombat 11, and it's not the biggest news, but two things about me is that Mortal Kombat means a lot to me because when I was forced to play the only console I owned, which is the Super NES, when I was a wee boy,
The good old days.
the good old days. Except I fucking hated everything Nintendo. So me and my brother only had Mortal Kombat because it was the only non-shitty game. So I don't even like fighter games, but we would play Mortal Kombat at nauseum just to kill each other, rip each other's arms off while we're 5 or 6 years old. And welfare family, right?
Family friendly.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And my mom was a single mom, and God help her, she just did anything to shut us up, right? So play the murder game.
I mean, my dad played Wolfenstein in front of me all the time, so
But did he rip people's arms off and beat them with them?
I mean, we had some Nazi killings, so I don't know what's worse.
But either way, we got to play it, and then that's how I fell into the lore of them. I beat the game with every character just to get their like cool ending, like story, all that good stuff. And so yeah, I built this thing, and then finally my dad freed me from the Nintendo imprisonment that I lived in and got us a PlayStation. Since there, I never looked back. And so I've always had this thing, even though not being the fighter guy, I've always just been,
Nostalgia.
yeah, for Mortal Kombat. So I buy them even though I'm not good at them in any way or form. Like going online, I'd probably just have to hurt myself after a couple matches. So yeah, I liked 11. It was different. It definitely felt different than other Mortal Kombat's. It moved more like Injustice, a little slower. You had to be a little closer.
It was very precise.
Yes.
Like you couldn't just button mash
No.
and expect to kick someone's ass.
Yeah, so they did that, and then one of the other loves of my childhood is Spawn. So now they're putting the two together, and I'm happier than a pig in shit.
I have my 2 Spawn figures up there.
Yeah.
I had another one. I don't know where it went, though.
Oh, Todd McFarlane has always had the best action figures. As a kid, that's the only action figures I wanted. Everyone's like, do you want a Spider-Man? I'm like, does it have 4 arms and kill demons? Then fuck off.
Speaking of Todd McFarlane, I'm pretty sure they're making a figure based on his... I'm pretty sure they're making a figure, based on the Mortal Kombat model.
Yeah, there's actually a one image too of him pulling Scorpion's head off, I think. 'cause
Yeah,
one of the
he
models.
comes with this
That
spine,
that looks awesome.
Yeah, no, I honestly might even buy it now that you guys are talking about it. But I just love everything about it. I watched the video. His cape is like actually something he's beating people with because he's using it as a weapon. His chains, like very little of the gameplay does it look like he actually hits anyone with his arms, which is fine with me.
Yeah, because he's got the machine guns he pulls out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the chain, all the chain
oh, so
attacks look great.
Have you seen both of his fatalities yet?
I saw one of them.
Is that the one where he removes their skin first?
Yes.
Okay. The second one, just like the comics, his cape goes around their head, pulls them up into the air, and then his chains slowly impale every part of the body until he finally splits the chains and just pulls
Spoilers.
them apart. I mean, I see it all the time. I don't care. But yeah, like I'm so thrilled. Like I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a bit, but as soon as they drop it, I'm playing it. And then I already bought the DLC pack, so I'm excited to kind of hit all of the expansive characters like Shang Tsung. I love so much. Terminator might just be neat because I have seen that if he gets hurt in certain ways, or like Scorpion burns him, like all the flesh burns off and you have the actual exoskeleton, which is cool. Don't really care about Nightwolf too much, but Sindel looks cool. And yeah, like I said, Spawn, I feel like he's going to be like, oh, you know, I love like something about Mortal Kombat 11. I've always loved Shao Kahn. You never could play as him. I think the only way I ever remember playing as him was
MK9.
No, you couldn't play as him in MK9 unless you had a mod for PC. It was MK Trilogy, and I can't remember which version because N64 had a different version than PlayStation, but one of them actually lets you play as all the bosses that they've ever done, like Motaro, Katoro. Is it? Yeah, I can't remember what his name is. Goro, Katoro, and Motaro. I think it let you play as all three of those and Shao Kahn. And I just remember, I think it must have been N64 because I thought I had to get a different console just to play it, but I could be wrong. But either way, that was only. But then they didn't scale it right, so like you'd hit someone twice and they'd be dead, and then you didn't have fatalities. So until 11, I never got to play Shao Kahn either. And like now this came out and I can, and I was already like, okay, this is my favorite Mortal Kombat ever just because of that. And now Spawn 2, I'm like, okay, like you guys clearly love me and thank you.
I'm excited for like the opening quips when they're always talking to each
they're
other.
so
the voice
good.
acting's very good.
Well, they got the same guy from the HBO.
Yeah, it's very good.
Did you watch the one where he talks to Joker?
I don't
Oh
recall.
my god, I almost died because again, me knowing Spawn. Basically, they have some quippy stuff, and it just ends with Spawn being like, "Fuck, I hate clowns," because
because
clown,
yeah.
and Violator or whatever. So I'm like, that's hilarious.
The one thing I did notice with Spawn was it looked like he might be a little bit slower than the average character.
I think
like
he's going to be a power character.
Yeah, he's going to be definitely power focused because
Yeah.
he looked a little sluggish, but I mean he was doing the damage for sure.
Yeah, that's my love-hate thing there because like Shao Kahn played the same. He's slow in 11, but he's a power hitter, and that's why you kind of have to figure out the moves where it starts a combo, but also kind of moves you like half a screen almost. Like he did one back hit where he just lunge a good distance. So like, okay, like that's how I'll make up for being so slow and not being able to reach you.
And in invisibility, he has the ability to go
Yeah,
invisible.
I think it's only that one move, if I'm mistaken.
Maybe,
I've only
like-
seen it come, and I don't feel like
It looked
it's
like he
100%
was
reptile.
wherever he disappeared. It looked like he was always reappearing in almost the exact same spot, but I'm not
Yeah.
too sure. It could be a select amount of distance. and all
Either
that
way,
kind of
whenever it comes out, I think it might be next week or the week after, but I'll be playing it, and I can talk about it more. And the next article is Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC in this summer, I believe.
stuff. It's exciting.
When
Well,
did it come out for PS4? Was
Was
it a
it
launch title?
No,
No. What am I talking about?
No,
Oh,
that was
3 years ago?
I can't remember the
It's-
DLC.
Because
came
2018
out.
was God of War. I thought Horizon was a year prior to that.
So 2017.
Yeah, I think it was 2017.
We are looking that up as we speak.
Yeah, because wasn't it a February
It's been a
or
while.
March? I thought it was February.
February
It's been a while.
Yes,
2017.
because it came out the same
2017,
time
yeah.
as Zelda, basically, and that's what everyone was like, "Oh, what's game of the year?" Well, there's this Link
Zelda, of
guy,
course.
yeah. So we got to give it to him.
Yeah, no, February 2017.
Okay, so I was right.
So that's a bit of a gap. I'll be honest. I don't know if it was on my radar that they were even doing it for PC.
I think it's genius. Just I'm one of the people thinking numbers, thinking business, not what's good for me, the gamer, like Games Pass. But I don't have Games Pass. I don't care. Personally, I'm just like half the stuff they have. I don't have an Xbox. So I have a PC. I go on to the PC version. There's nothing there I want to play anyway. So I'm like, well, I'm not giving you whatever money, $8, $9, $10. I don't care. So like that's their thing. They like doing that. I think it fudges the numbers, and it also keeps Xbox safe. Because if no one buys Gears of War 5, they can just blame it on, so many people played on Games Pass. You guys don't even know the number.
And
it's
you'll
like,
never get to
and
know.
you'll
the
never
numbers.
get to know. And
But it's popular.
yeah, and same with like all their games, right? I don't know what that other one was. Outer World?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Outer
yeah,
World.
because Outer World, I always mess those up. Outer World, same thing. They put it on there, and I'm like, okay, what are the real numbers, though? Well, we can get the PlayStation ones, but even that game, I don't remember it ever coming on top 10. And same thing, if it doesn't do good, they'll just say, oh, but it did really good on this thing. Well, here's PlayStation. We know it did good. It sold over 10 million copies, which is fairly good, And now, 3 years later, if you were a PC dork and you couldn't play it till now because you're Master Race genes, then now you can play it. You don't complain. But what they're doing, and I think this is smart, is like, okay, let's say Curtis plays it for the first time. And, well, I guess this would be the second time. You did try to start it, I believe, on the Pro.
Yeah, I never finished it.
So let's say you do get addicted to it and you're just like foaming at the mouth for more. Well, possibly being a PS5 exclusive launch title, maybe you're going to switch then because you just want to play this game. You want to see where it progresses.
You may sway some people to getting PlayStation.
And that's where I think it's smart, unlike
Yep,
Microsoft, who does it day one and keeps me from ever buying their console because I'll just play it on the PC.
I'd be excited to see it on PC.
Yeah.
In the gloriousness of the graphics.
Yeah.
Smooth frame rate.
yeah.
Smooth frame rate for sure. I played it on the Pro. I don't remember having any.
It ran really
issues.
good because they optimized it, right? That's always the benefit of going an exclusive game, right? It's optimized. Not that says it always works. What was it? Crackdown 3 still ran like shit even though it was an exclusive, but
It's Crackdown.
yeah, we expected
3.
it.
I mean, I guess by smooth frame rate, I mean 60 frames.
Yeah,
like,
solid.
It's not playing, or it's not playing at 30 frames. Like,
Yeah.
you're not getting
Well,
that.
and I'd like to see
stutter.
are they going to let you finally get real 4K and not just the checkerboard upscaled crap that the Pro does?
If your video card can render it, absolutely.
Yeah, getting that, there you go. You get to see it even better.
That
And,
would be really hard.
that's
to do,
the benefit of same with people who waited for Red Dead for the PC. Same benefit. You get to see it better now.
As someone who played it on PlayStation, I don't think I'd go out and buy it again for PC.
No, and I don't
Unless
think
it
that's
was
what
like
this
really
is, though.
cheap. No, you're probably getting the same experience for sure.
Yeah.
But I was curious, are they bundling it with the DLC as well?
I assume it would be.
I think
Like the
it's
complete game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 years later, right? So it's
Yeah, they're not
probably-
going to release it 3 years later. And be
DLC
like, yeah,
20
yeah,
6 months
6
later.
months now. Yeah.
So I mean, I never played the DLC myself. So maybe if it was like super cheap, a good deal down the road, I could see getting it again.
Yeah, just something to add to your library.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted, okay, so my secret time with Steve is I never finished it. I think I got 4 or 5 hours in and stopped playing because I hated the AI.
I recall you not finishing it.
I just hated the AI. I just couldn't do it, Chris. I got to the first, I think this is actually like, I wouldn't qualify it as a rage quit, but I got to the first campsite with humans. And you got to clear them, right? Open world objective bullcrap. And I remember one guy left the camp and went to a little tower that you stand on. And so he walks there, and I shot him with a bow, and he fell and died. Fine. All of a sudden I hear, what's that? Well, a guy walks over, stands in front of him. What happens after that? What's that? And literally the whole camp, for 10, 15 minutes, everyone just came out to stare at the body. And I would peg them off in front of each other and nothing would happen.
You're talking enemy camp?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem with so many games.
No, but the problem with this game, and I get it, they did a great job with those dinosaurs. They did fantastic, and all the weapons you could use in different ways to try to take them down. I understand that. But then
The human AI.
in story, and then, those open world objectives, as soon as you went to humans, it was just bad. And even... spoiler alert for a game that's like 3 years old, but at the start, the first time you have to fight those humans because they're attacking your camp, it was bad. It felt slow. It felt meticulous. I just didn't enjoy it. And I think that was my first damper. And then, everything just kills you all the time. You're always like bait for these freaking dinosaurs, which is a little frustrating. I also got mad that I felt like it was trying to be a little Tomb Raider-ish, where it's like you're a bow, you're stealth, but Tomb Raider, at least you could climb shit. And I'm like, if I'm in a world of dinosaurs, I want some verticality. why wouldn't I climb a rock if there's a fucking T-Rex robot? I'm like, what's the only thing more dangerous than a fucking T-Rex?
It's okay. There's a bush you can hide in.
I know, right? Like, because that's what you're going to do when a thing has
They're
a
robots. They don't smell.
it's just so stupid. So anyway, that frustrated me, and there's just so many things where I guess maybe it was more like my fault because I thought it was going to be this thing, and then I get it. I'm like, oh, you know,
Didn't
good.
it also have an issue where if something saw you, all the other machines knew where you were?
I don't think I got far enough in it to honestly.
Well, it's not even a
Tell you.
late thing. I thought even just with the, I don't know what you want to call them, the striders.
I'll be honest though, that's more believable than most other games. Like it's a machine.
If it
would
screams
almost
out-
makes well, not even the screen, but a machine can transfer a signal. I mean, I'm just adding this, could transfer a signal to the other nearby robots. But most games, like you play Assassin's Creed or anything like that, as soon as one guy detects you, they all go to that exact point where you were detected.
Yeah,
and then you climb into a bush.
yeah.
and hide
Replaying
and-
Odyssey recently, oh, that drives me.
Odyssey
nuts,
had
yeah.
that same problem where
Yeah.
you kill a guy and the patrol routes were always
Yeah.
You just wait long enough, they're eventually going to go into the exact same spot where you killed the last guy.
Yeah, that drove me nuts because it's like, oh, I cleared this section, and then they're all there again. And it's like, really, like I can't get a freaking break. So getting a little off topic, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good thing for PC players. I wish them well. And maybe this makes them join the PlayStation 5 ecosystem. So hopefully PlayStation doesn't have to do something like Games Pass because, like, although it's a great service for the consumer, it's not good business. And especially when PlayStation's biggest strength, in my opinion, is their exclusives. Like, you know, Last of Us 2 coming out, like that's going to sell gangbusters. Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know how that will do, but you know, a lot of people have nostalgia for Infamous, and like I'm interested in it. Like I'm just gonna say I'm definitely gonna try it in some aspect. And
Well, any money that goes into Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, hey, it's going money. Hopefully, the money is going to the company,
yeah,
and they're going to put that money into the sequel.
yeah. Other than that, like,
Because I'm excited for a sequel. It was a quite enjoyable game.
I'm interested. I might like it more, like maybe because they have the time to improve.
I will be picking it up eventually, maybe not right away, but I will pick it up because, yeah, like you mentioned before, I'm even trying to replay it again. I made it only so far, but just the fact that I'm playing 30 frames, and I don't know, it just kills me. I'm so used to playing games in 60 frames now that it's definitely
you
more
do feel it,
incentivizing
yeah.
to me, yeah.
You definitely feel the 30
Yeah, I don't
frames
remember-
in some games.
Especially if you're trying to aim at something that's moving, it's just so much easier.
Impossible.
Even if it has mouse control, I might actually play with a mouse.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will if it's going on PC. Like, I want to think that you're not crazy enough to release a PC game with no mouse support.
Well, as
but
long as it's not like Dark Souls where it's virtually unplayable with a mouse and keyboard.
yet I've seen people do it, and I'm like, you
They-
hate yourself.
There's
Yeah,
people doing it
dogs.
with Guitar Hero because the instruments. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
But that's
cool.
something completely different.
Yeah. I mean, I've never think I've had a computer that could handle 60 frames per second, so I'm not that guy. I think my only thing I could think of off the top of my head that was 60 frames per second would be like, don't quote me, but one of the Uncharted's, I can't remember. I don't think it was single player, but if you went online multiplayer, suddenly it was 60 frames per second. I'm like, what the hell? This is so
I
weird.
think the third one did that.
Yeah, I
I remember
that.
that was almost a
think
shock.
so.
I was like, why is the whole
Yeah.
game not like this? It's just
Because
multiplayer.
they made the single player look amazing.
Yeah,
Well, I don't remember,
they
but
ate
I don't
everything
remember.
the PS3 could offer on that
I
one.
don't remember the multiplayer looking like horrible by any means.
No, but it's smaller, right? And they don't
Yeah,
have to
for
worry about
sure.
multiply spawning this and cars exploding and blah blah blah.
Well, I know they did the same thing with Doom though too. Like they wanted to make sure that multiplayer was smooth 60 because if people are relying on that, then it's there. So I think they might have.
Do you
and
think
again,
the Switch version had that smooth 60?
No, it did not.
No, it didn't.
That's
have,
why
that's
I
so
didn't buy
weird.
it.
That's so weird.
If you add the 230 frames together.
So you have to buy two Switches and two copies of the game.
No, it's
Okay.
that's throttled.
You just
It's
tape
throttled.
them together,
It's
and
not like
that's your
running.
60.
It's not like running two video cards where you
Ah,
have
okay.
one card
There's no
doing half the work.
SLI. No.
Just process it slower in your head.
What did AMD call it? Crossfire?
Crossfire.
Yeah, no SLI Crossfire Switch support. That sucks.
Darn.
Yeah, so that's our thought. You know, good luck to. I'd be interested to see how it does on PC. Just did everyone already play it who wanted to play it? I mean, I know not everyone, but are they going to have that support? Maybe people loved it so much, they're like, oh yeah, like I like playing on my PC.
Did they say what it was coming out on? I think I thought I saw it on Steam.
It's gonna be on Steam for sure. I don't know if it's gonna go on on other platforms or not.
Like
but
if it's not exclusive to Epic, then it's probably not on Epic. So
all I've seen so far is Steam.
yeah, I think I
and,
remember seeing it on the store.
And yes, summer 2020 is what they're aiming for, which is what, June to August. So yeah, we still don't know. We don't know if it's going to be full price.
I
mean,
would hope it's a little cheaper than that. I would hope it's a little under the $60 price range.
It's a 3-year-old game already, but it is coming out with
Yeah,
all of
it's new to PC. I get that, but I just would hope that it's still like, come out the 40, 50 tops.
The greatest hit.
Yeah.
Mm.
When
So-
they combine all the DLC together.
Or
But-
you're thinking of the Game of the Year edition.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Greatest hits is PlayStation's like cheap.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
$19.
Yeah,
Yes.
like Bloodborne and Uncharted 4 now and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. I wish it the best. Moving forward to our last article, we have the newest news and possibly the sexiest is that the CD Projekt Red. So we're talking about them again, possibly doing another Witcher game. That very tickles my fancy. I think it sounds like from what I'm reading that we're going to deal with a smaller team making this one, which kind of tells me we're probably looking at a spin-off.
I mean, you missed a very important point there. They're not dealing with it until after Cyberpunk.
That's true.
Like, it's not happening right now. They're still focusing on
focus isn't-
Cyberpunk,
yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
as that's coming out
I'm
in
sure there's
September.
Pre-development. I'm sure there's pictures, ideas getting pitched, but you're right. They're not, there's not 3D models being made right now.
It's definitely early news, that's for sure.
Yeah. Like, it was just announced, what?
But we all saw this
yesterday?
coming because what was it? Only a few months ago, they re-upped the contract with the author/creator of
Yeah.
The Witcher. So
And then the Netflix series did well.
yeah,
Brought a lot of attention to Witcher 3.
well, and they had a lot of like animosity towards each other. I don't want to speak for CD Projekt Red, but I know the author kind of made it public that he didn't feel like he got a fair deal. Also, he didn't think he was going to do this well. So
And he didn't want to have anything to do with it, really.
yeah.
from what I read.
So anyway, he was a little upset after the fact that he signed the deal, which, we're used to our capitalist ways where it's kind of like, well, you signed it. That's not their fault. They made it great. But, good for him. He got a new contract. He's a lot happier with the numbers they showed him now. And with the Netflix money and everything else, like that guy's just probably grinning ear to ear. But I'm excited for more Witcher. This really makes me happy. I kind of knew like, Witcher 3 wasn't going to be our last Witcher, but it also like still might be our last one with Geralt, and that kind of makes me sad. But how many games until it ends up being like a Gears or something or Halo where I have to play the same character for 8 games until I just hate him.
Could get a spin-off, maybe playing as Ciri or Dandelion. That'd be an interesting
Well, and there's
series.
other schools that I don't think the games really
That's
touch
true.
on that much. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
there's lots.
are we going to be the Viper or was it Cat was one of them too?
Bear, cat.
Yeah, Wolf. Well, he was Wolf. Sorry, that's my bad. So yeah, like I don't know. Take me to a different school, get me another start, a whole other characters, like, get me out of the weird love triangle that Geralt's always stuck in. I'm just excited for more Witcher. Like, I don't know how big of fans you guys are, but I know I'd be playing it, especially if it's smaller team, but hopefully has good side quests and all that jazz.
I mean, yeah, if it's the same quality as what The Witcher has been, then absolutely, I'm looking forward to it.
Mm.
Looking forward to seeing more news come out, get the hype train rolling.
I more recently finished the third one, so yeah, it was good. I had a lot of fun with it. So
I feel like the problem is coming in late. Like, even me replaying it recently, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, the combat doesn't hold up anymore. At the time, it didn't seem so bad, but I never think I walked away being like, oh, that combat. But, other than that, everything else was like solid 10s across the board.
I think the combat changed also from the last one.
Oh, yeah. A lot.
So, and for the better, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, it wasn't the most memorable.
Yeah. It always feels clumsy when you come back to it nowadays.
by the end of it, I was done.
Ooh.
But that's me, the guy who has to pick up everything, the collector.
yeah.
I have to hit every question mark on the map.
I can't wait to have gameplay videos with you.
My concern though is if they want to try to do a spin-off, and if it does end up being Ciri, again, spoiler, you might not have her live at the end of your story.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would tie in.
I
unless-
also hate that idea because the worst parts of Witcher 3, in my opinion, were playing Ciri. I hated playing her always. They always felt like you're taking me from Geralt, you're taking me away from the things I've progressed, the decisions I've made to play this new character who plays totally different, but in my opinion always felt underpowered. Like, yeah, you can teleport.
underpowered.
Well, she could teleport through people, but that was it.
I don't think I was ever close to dying as her as I was with Geralt.
I was on Death March difficulty, the hardest difficulty. Yeah, there was definite times.
You're talking to the Platinum King. You address him by his title.
The title. No. But yeah, that one, playing on Death March, I found the difficulty amped up playing with her.
And yeah, I guess I was playing more on a normal difficulty, but I found that I was never having issues with her because she was just able to do the teleporting mass killing, and I never had
There's
problems.
only one that was a big problem for me where she started to have cooldowns for it. So, like, if you went too much, then she'd just stay there.
Yeah, she could, if I recall, like she could dodge 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
She has like a blink jump dodge, but then it had an unknown cooldown. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't see it. It was just.
And there's also another super move where she would, like, auto kill people, but she could only do
It was a charge
3
up thing
Yeah,
too.
and
Yeah.
then, like, same thing. Once you used it, you're kind of just like pooch. So,
Yeah.
and then in that scene, she was getting attacked by like everyone. So I wasn't even playing on hard difficulty, and I noticed that I'm like, I'd be more comfortable with Geralt because I have more spells available. I have the potions. I have this. Where she has nothing,
Yeah.
and all she can do is teleport. And I don't know, I don't know. She just didn't play the same, and it was just like any other game. My gripe's always like, "Hey, you've trained me for hours and hours to play the game like this, and then boom, in no time, I'm supposed to just pick up a new mechanic and understand how to do it."
Yeah.
Without
I didn't mind the change of pace. Like it was.
I always just knew it was coming. I'm like, no.
But that's probably because I did like 1,000 side quests
yeah.
and cleared everything, and then it's like, okay, now let's jump on back to the story mode, and now I'm playing as her. So it was an okay change of pace. But yeah, in reality, how much of the game is actually played as her? Like
Oh, very little.
very, very little.
And not to derail like the game, but I guess that's the same kind of idea as Red 13 not being playable in Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I guess they're trying to avoid that whole, yes, you've been playing the same 3 people for the entirety of the game, you're not going to play as him, they're going to make him a guest because you're so used to playing these people, they don't want to mess up that chemistry that you have with them.
Yeah, and I don't know.
But it's
I
4.
don't know that.
It'd be 4, right?
It would,
Because there's at the beginning of the game you would have
yeah,
Cloud,
there was
Aerith.
Tifa and
Tifa and
Barret.
We were
So-
debating this if
and
it's
you can only have
Aerith or
3.
Ares.
I think depends on which region you purchase the
I
game.
think they start to pronounce it more as Aerith now.
I think they've
Yeah.
officially started changing it to Ares, isn't it?
Aerith.
Oh, it's Aerith.
I think so.
I think if you played like the original, maybe on like PlayStation 1, it
Mhm.
might have came up as.
I'm pretty sure every North American version that I have is Eris, but
Yes, that's what I
everything
thought
else
so
is
too.
Aerith.
Yeah,
And then the movies came out, and
which I'm fine with Aerith. I think I prefer that over Ares. Just sounds like the Greek god or something.
yeah. But so, anyways, yeah, you'd be playing with those 4 characters, but I think when you go into battle, you can only have 3 at a time,
Yeah.
plus a guest. I think is what it said.
which is what
Which
Red
is what
13
Red
would
will
be.
be, yeah.
Unless
So-
that's what they're doing with Aerith. She might not be playable because maybe they're hinting to people that something might happen to her.
Spoiler.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's 23 years old. Don't give me that shit.
23 years new to some people. Well, honestly, and I've debated this with one other guy where they say the same thing. Oh, 23 years. I'm like, there's a lot of people that weren't born that are going to be playing this game
For the first time.
for the first time, and
Yeah.
it is a spoiler to them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, not that I'm going to be that guy and be like, shame on you, but
Mind you, if you've seen the movie too, the movie would spoil it too, right? It's in the movie.
I think the movie's so old now too that those, like, if they were 10 at the time and didn't watch
it holds up.
I
It
mean,
holds up.
does it really explain what happened though?
No.
Exactly.
After
so,
playing it, does it explain what
as
happened?
as a fan, does it explain what's happening? Because where the fuck those 3 people came from and why they have Genova.
why the hell couldn't you take the materia out of your hair?
It's a hair accessory.
Jeez.
Yeah. I love that in Death she knows exactly how to use it, but she never knew what the hell it was in life. But as for Witcher, I think we're also excited for with a hint of where is this going to go?
So early.
And to end it off, we got a little bit of housekeeping, but we're working on releasing a few more new videos on the YouTube channel. Just search NPC Offline once again on YouTube, and we should be the first thing you see. And we'll have some new shows there. Try those out. See what you guys think. Obviously, please subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what you do like, what you don't like. And maybe you have ideas of things you want to see us do that we haven't even thought of yet. And that'd be much appreciated. With that said, I think we're going to sign off and see you next week.
Have a good one,
Goodbye.
guys.
Bye.